Yo, what up? Welcome to Mo Boxing No Problem. I'm Jose Ramirez Jr., and tonight I'm joined by a special guest. We got a pro boxer out of San Bernardino, California, Lawrence King.
Yo,
How's
what's
it?
good with you, bro?
Oh man, nothing much, man. How about yourself? How's your day going?
Everything good, just shaking out these last few pounds, and I'm just ready to fight already. Kind of
Uh,
bored. Like
it,
I'm over all the training, I'm over all the dieting. I'm ready to go.
I feel it. I feel it was fight week, so you're gonna be busy soon with all the press conferences and interviews. So
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
absolutely, man. Well, the first question I got for you, Lawrence, is rather basic. It's the question everyone asks, and it's how you get into boxing.
I had a close friend, by the name of Ryan Garcia. He we went to high school together, and I just I met him, and then from there we just clicked up, and I just stuck to it from there. We ended up actually sparring and stuff. I don't get too deep in it because we both got two different stories, but I pulled up to his crib, we sparred, and after that we just became close friends, and I just stuck to it.
Nice. And is this the Ryan Garcia that just fought Tank?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Nice, man. Well, both of you guys are killing it in the sport.
I most definitely. I'm trying to get there. We working. It's a slow progress, but it's coming for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And can you tell me a little bit about your amateur career? What were your major accomplishments from back in the day?
I had two nationals, 70 fights. It's crazy because my first national, I actually lied on my how many fights I had because you need more than 10 fights to be an open fighter. So I was
Hmm.
already fighting dudes with like 100 plus fights at only two fights. So I actually won my first national out in Oxnard, and then that's when I knew I just I had it. So I always been a fighter.
That's what's up. And switching gears to your pro career, you made your debut back in February 2017. What can you tell us about that fight? And your emotions. Were there any nerves?
No, yeah, for sure. I had my whole family come out, and even though the guy that I fought is my first fight, he had 8 fights. He was 1-7-1 at the time. He wasn't a bad fighter. He lost to a lot of good guys. And so it was for me. It was a tough moment because I was like, damn, this is my first fight. I only been boxing for about 5 years before I even turned pro. So like I was still fresh. I started boxing at 15 and I turned pro around 21, I think. And then it was a tough experience though, but I got through it and we made it happen.
That's what's up. And I've seen the pictures of you and Canelo sparring. It looks like you guys go way back
Yeah,
years.
yeah, for sure.
Uh, can you tell us how you linked up with Canelo and the Canelo team?
I had a while ago, when I had took my first loss on Canelo's undercard, and I actually stopped boxing for a while. I was done boxing for about 5 months. I was going through it. With this sport's like up and down. It's like so I was going through it. My boy Ryan called me up, told me get back. He had just started training with Eddie Reynoso. So I was like, all right, for sure, I'm gonna pull up. So I was in Atlanta at the time for 5 months, and I came back to Cali, San Diego, and I started living with them, and from there, they was like, oh, this would be good work for Canelo. Let's set it up because who I think he was fighting Danny Jacobs at the time.
Hmm.
Not sure, but yeah, he had a fight coming up, so I was already there, and I was like, let's get it. We did 6 rounds the first day, and then he was like, all right, that's it for the day. And I was like, nah, let's do one more. Because, I was trying to prove myself. I'm like, nah, let's do one more. He was like, all right. So now I didn't show. I showed out. I was showing off and shit. And after the round ends, he like, no, let's do one more. I'm like, fuck. So had, I had to do one more. But after that, we became hella cool. And from there, they loved me, showed me love, and always brought me back for sure. And this time they put me on the card, so that's amazing.
Oh yeah, that's love, and it's good to see you got a good team around you, and that competition kind of brings the best out of you.
Nah, most definitely. I learned so much from this dude, more than any coach I've ever had.
I feel it. And then I want to ask about your out of country experiences. I've seen you fought in Mexico and Costa Rica.
Yeah, yeah.
What have been your experiences fighting in these country?
The Mexico experience was, just not being with the promoter or having that backing behind you. But those experiences were all fun. They're all funny, because a lot of these guys they just flop. you don't get a real fight. But it's it's cool. But I know what I'm ready for, and like now I'm ready for some top fights. I'm done with the bullshit. I want to fight some real guys, some real fighters, some real names. I don't got much fights, but I'm at 12 fight. It's my 13th fight. I'm fighting the guy 19-4. So I'm just ready. And Costa Rica fight was a great experience as well. It was a funny experience. I had an opponent there that was like I had one guy, and then the next day it was another guy. He didn't even. It was like a 40-year-old man, maybe 50, and he just came out in a swimsuit. Like
Word.
I was like, what the fuck? But it's a great experience though. All that prepared me, to be comfortable in the ring.
There you go. As you mentioned earlier, you already got one loss on your pro record.
Yes.
No one wants the losses, but like that's to say, there's lessons in losses.
No, yeah,
What
most.
what did you learn from that loss?
From that loss, to be honest, I was in a, I was 4-0 at the time. The guy was 3-0. He was like I said, I was always I always, still to this day, like still to that day, I always wanted to fight the best people. So when they presented me to fight, I was like, yeah, let's do it. He was a WSB champion, national champion, and like over 120 some fights. He was one of he was a top guy, and he was a Russian. So I was like, let's do it. And then at that point, I was in a bad point of my life, and I was just like, all right, I need to make some money. So I was like, all of that came together. I wanted to fight the best,
Mhm.
and I needed some money at the same time. So
Right.
I was like, let's do it, let's get it on. I really didn't have a real purpose behind boxing at the time. So like after that, I looked at boxing differently. Like this is not a sport. This is a real fight, and I look at it totally different now. Like I see myself being world champion. I see myself accomplishing all the things that I want to.
Absolutely. And now let's bring it up to present day. As we mentioned, you'll be fighting this Saturday, May 6th, on the Canelo's undercard in Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico. Are you excited for the opportunity to fight in 50,000 plus fans in attendance?
No, for sure. It's crazy because the card that I lost on was a Canelo Triple G card too. So
Oof.
I actually fought one of his sparring partners. So he was already sparring with Canelo, and I fought him. And even that guy's manager told me I won. But I don't want to get into that too much. But this is a big opportunity. I'm not going to dwell on the past too much. And I'm already past it. Actually, I'm 6 fights. Past it. Clean record, and this is just amazing opportunity, bro. I don't know how many people is they keep opening up seats. This dude is selling tickets like crazy. He's really a big fish, man.
Absolutely, man. That's something definitely for you to be proud of. You're going to be fighting with that many people, and more people going to be fans of you at the end of the day.
No, most definitely. Out here they show up early, so
They,
I'm gonna have a little crowd out here.
they love their boxing in Mexico for sure, for
For real.
sure. And what it's been 15 months since your last fight. What's been the reason or reasons for the inactivity?
So I had a lot of falling out fights. People, they'll call me up. Like I even took some B-side fights or try to take B-side fights, and they'll go look at me and they'll be like, "Nah, we don't want them." So they'll send contracts. I'll sign the contracts, send them back, and then we got an injury or management issues. It always been like a issue to where they came up with a reason not to fight me. So it was like, it was a lot of setbacks on that point, and hopefully this year I can get something, get it flowing. With Eddie, he's already, pushing to get me fights this year. He put me on this card. He wants me right back in June. So it should be looking good for me this year.
Yeah, it's great. And yeah, unfortunately, there is a lot of boxing politics when it comes to making fights.
Most definitely.
Yeah. And then, what can you tell us about your upcoming opponent, Elio German Rafael?
I don't know too much about him. I seen a few videos. He's 19-4. He's from Argentina, living in Mexico City, I think. He's a tough dude, southpaw, great look, hairy as fuck. Um, it's a great look for me. Like it's the perfect look. It's the matchup I need. It's the a kind of tune up or step up fight. I was not even tune up, a step up fight that I would need to show people that who I am and be able to display my talent because he's not going to make it. From what I've seen, he's not going to make it easy fight. He's a fighter. He comes to fight. So I get to actually show my talent, not like these other, Mexico and Costa Rica fights. I actually get to, show people what I'm working with.
Nice. That's what it's all about.
Most definitely.
And then, how do you prepare for fights? Do you tend to watch a lot of tape on your opponent, and do you kind of leave that up to your coach and just focus on you?
Well, since with these, I like you mentioned before, like Mexico and Costa Rica, there's not really much you could find on these guys. Only guys that I've, there's probably been like 3 fights that I actually got to study of
Mm-hmm.
my opponents, and even this guy, I really haven't even been watching him. I watched him, but I'll probably watch about a round, and I'll be like, okay, because for me, I feel as though if you watch too much on your opponent, you start to think too much. You start to, like, so I watch what I want to see. I take out what I want to see, and I leave it at that.
That's perfect because you gotta adapt in the day, right?
Yeah, for sure. Because at the end of the day, he might not even be the same guy he was, and last month, 2 months ago, he might come out different. You never know. He might come out like Mike Tyson. He's like, because I know for me, every time I fight, I come out differently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. And then, who would you say has been the hardest puncher you've been in the ring with, either in sparring or in a pro fight?
Sparring there, I would say Canelo. Canelo's the hardest puncher. There's another one I would say Brian Castano. He could crack. Uh, that's it really. There's no other guys. I sparred a lot of guys, but the hardest punchers are those two.
Yes, sir. All right. And then, who do you consider to be your best win to date?
My best win to date, man. I can't even. I really don't have a best win to date. Like I can't even tell myself like my last opponent was a great look, but there's no. I haven't had a opponent where I can be like, oh, I beat his ass. But this dude that's 19-4, this will be my best opponent today.
Gotcha. Yeah, and we'll come back to that question once we win that championship, because then that'll be easy
Yeah,
to answer.
most definitely.
And then, who was your favorite boxer growing up?
See, that's another thing too. I really wasn't really into boxing. I didn't. I learned boxing as I started the sport. So I was a football player. I played running back and linebacker and quarterback, and I felt like I was good at that, but I had got into a lot of trouble growing up, which driven me away. With football you need good grades, and it drove me away from that. And then I started getting into boxing. So for like boxing in my point of time, I started watching Earl Spence when he was young. So like
Mm-hmm.
that's the guy that I always looked at and looked up to and seen. And then as I got more into the sport, I started to watch guys like Michael Nunn and like just mainly Michael Nunn though, James Toney, a lot of Floyd. I didn't really start watching Canelo until he after he fought Floyd. I didn't really know too much about Canelo until he fought Floyd, Manny Pacquiao, the guys like that. But mainly Earl Spence.
Yeah, no, all great names, and it's funny because we actually had yesterday an interview with Gabriel Goyas Valenzuela,
Uh,
another Canelo fighter, and he gave me the kind of a similar response. He's like, I didn't watch boxing until I
yeah,
turned pro.
that's for real.
So
I didn't know nothing about boxing. I just knew Mayweather, Muhammad Ali, and Mike Tyson. Like I didn't
yeah,
know that. And
yeah,
then as I got into the sport, I started to really study. I became a student of the game.
nice. And then, bringing it down to present day, who do you consider to be the number one pound for pound fighter today?
Um, I never really got into that list stuff, but I would say you got to give it to Terrence Crawford. You got to give it to number one. Number one. Damn, I don't want to be biased. I want to be real. Um,
Is
that's a hard one, bro. It's like it's very
you
hard.
give me like your top 3 or 4?
I would go Canelo, Earl Spence, and Terrence Crawford.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, all those names definitely at the top.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And then for a heavyweight, I got to throw a heavyweight in there. I would give it to Fury. Not Fury. Yeah, Tyson Fury.
Yeah, Fury.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say Usyk for a second
Nah,
too.
hey, you think it's dope though, man? They
Uh-huh.
tell me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm bummed we didn't get that summer fight between Fury and
Nah,
Usyk.
that
That
would have
would have been
been
oof, crazy. Hopefully they get it end of the year or something.
Nah, for sure they got that one before they go.
Yeah, and as we mentioned at the start of the show, you're from San Bernardino, California.
Uh-huh.
What do your SoCal roots mean to you?
It mean a lot to me. I like to go back home from time to time and show my love. And, I got a lot of people that support me there. I got a lot of family there. Actually, my whole family is there, and that's my roots. And I have family out in Compton as well too. So it's like they're rooting for me. It means a lot to me.
Yeah, hopefully we can get you a homecoming fight there.
That's what I actually tried to do that, but it was already too late. I seen that Robert Garcia was doing a fight in San Bernardino, and
Oh
and
yeah,
I was trying to get in contact with somebody. Like, I gotta get on this card, but it was already too late though. By the time I found out,
gotcha. Well, hopefully next time.
man.
And then Lawrence, what do you like to do outside of boxing? What are some of your interests and hobbies?
I really like to, I got my kids. I got my son Royale, my son Legend, and I got two boys. So really, a lot of time is taken away from them because of the sport. But I try, I do my thing. To after this, I head back to them and I spend time with them. But other than that, I like to travel, go out with my friends. Nothing crazy. I don't really drink. I don't really party. But we take trips and I enjoy myself.
Yeah, got to get those trips for the experience.
Nah, for sure, for sure. My passport, I got cool little amount of stamps.
There you go. And then, what's the best piece of advice you would give someone that's thinking about turning pro and making a career out of boxing?
Be consistent. That's the biggest thing. Consistency. Like a lot of people think, oh, hard work. You could work hard. You can work as hard as you want, but if you're not being consistent, it ain't gonna pan out. Because even for me, I thought I was working hard, but it's a difference between hard work and consistency. So it's like you got to pick one of those things, or you got to do both.
Well said. And then, when it's all said and done, how do you want to be remembered in the sport of boxing? What do you want your legacy to be?
I want to be, remembered as one of the best. A household name. I want to at least, I'm 26 years old. I at least want to get 2, 3 titles at least. I want to finish up at 168, 175, maybe even heavyweight. I was thinking, because I do get big from time to time, and I think, I feel like a few more years, I truly could go to heavyweight. So I just want to make my a household name in the sport.
Doing it like Roy Jones, huh?
Yeah, most definitely. Well,
Yeah, I read recently. It's an old quote that Andre Ward was thinking about going to heavyweight before he retired.
I would have loved it, bro. Fighters like that, I just feel like, you know, even that dude Jared Anderson, right?
Hmm.
I'm gonna use him for example. He's he's like a middleweight in the heavyweight body.
Yep.
So like I like stuff like that. Like if Roy Jones, I mean not if Roy Jones, if Andre Roy would have went up there, that would have been dope. Just to see somebody that slick, that fast, at heavyweight, it would have been dope.
Yeah, definitely. And the final question I got for you, Lawrence, not really a question, it's more so giving you the floor. What's a message you want to send to your fans supporters?
That I appreciate you guys for always showing me love. Y'all stay tuned. Is May 6th is coming. Y'all tune into that. You know, we got a lot of things coming. I appreciate you guys for staying down and showing love.
There you go. And everybody, make sure you don't miss the upcoming fight on May 6th. It's going to be a banger.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of great fights out here. It's a lot of great Mexican fighters here. And just for me, I might even be the only black fighter on the card. I'm not sure. Yeah, I gotta find out. But I think I. But it's they show love out here. They appreciate Jalisco and all the Mexican supporters that that's tuning in and just worldwide that's into boxing. I appreciate you guys.
Oh, exactly. And I've heard stories, of like kind of foreigners fighting in Mexico. They come out, get booed, but after a great fight, they get
Yeah,
cheered. So,
yeah, you never know. They but they always every time I come out here though, I fought with Canelo and them out here. Well, not with them, but they sent me out here a few times, about 3 times. They always show me love. Like they never booed me. They never always showed me love. They treated me like I was already famous. And that's one thing about other countries in the U.S. They show love when you coming up. In the U.S., you don't get love until you there.
Yeah, no, 100%, man. So everybody start showing love now. Follow Lawrence King on Instagram. You can see here in the banner. It's at IamLKing.
Yes.
That way you don't miss any updates in his boxing career. And Lawrence, thank you again for this interview. It was a pleasure to get to bed and talk.
I appreciate you, man. Mo Boxing. No problems. You showing love, man. I appreciate it. I need one of those hats, bro. I could have had it on the walkout. That's the
Oh
perfect color
man,
right
I'm
there.
I'm gonna get you
next,
one, Lawrence. I'm gonna get you one.
next fight, we back in June. I got you. I show my love. I throw a t-shirt on the walkout. Whatever you need me to do, baby.
I got you. We'll link up, man.
All right, for
All
sure.
right,
Appreciate
appreciate you, Lawrence. Take care.
you too.
All right, bye.